Imagine rushing to work.
Yeah.
Right. And you suddenly realize your car keys are locked inside your vehicle.
Oh, the worst feeling.
Or, even worse, you've just completely lost them. What do you actually do?
Panic, usually.
Right, exactly. Today, we're talking about how automotive locksmiths in Brooklyn and Queens, New York, can actually turn a super stressful situation into a really quick solution.
It's so necessary in the city, too.
Yep, absolutely. So our mission today is to really unpack the modern reality of car lockouts and key emergencies. And to help us do that, we're looking at some great source material from our sponsor, Bolt Locksmith Williamsburg.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
They really are. They're the premier 24/7 service provider for cars, homes, and businesses like all across Brooklyn, Manhattan, and Queens.
Which is a huge coverage area.
It is. And, I always compare losing a car key in a busy borough to, like, losing your passport at the airport.
Oh, that's a good comparison.
Right. It's just utter panic. You're stranded, the clock is ticking on street cleaning, and you just feel completely helpless.
It is this universal feeling of dread. Like that split second where you realize you are entirely locked out of your own mobility.
Yeah, your stomach just drops.
Exactly. And in a busy city environment where transit schedules are tight and you're just rushing, that stress is magnified tenfold.
Okay, let's unpack this, because my first instinct, and I think a lot of people's first instinct when they completely lose a modern key, is just to, I don't know, call the dealership.
Right. Which makes sense on paper.
But from what I've been reading, that is often like the slowest and most expensive route you could possibly take. Why is that?
Well, it really just comes down to logistics. I mean, if you lose your only key, you can't exactly drive your car to the dealership.
Right.
Right?
True.
So that means you are immediately on the hook for a tow truck.
Towing fees.
Exactly. And then once the car actually arrives at the dealership, you're totally at the mercy of their service queue. It could take, honestly, days to get the vehicle into the bay.
Wow, days without a car.
Yeah. And then dealerships traditionally charge this massive premium for the original parts and the labor to program a new key. But a mobile automotive locksmith, they just flip that model entirely.
Because they come to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They bring the dealership directly to you. Their vans are essentially like rolling tech labs. They can cut and program the key literally on the sidewalk where your car is parked.
Which saves you the tow fee and all those days of waiting.
Exactly. It's a huge time and money saver.
That makes the mobile aspect just a total no-brainer. But let's talk about the tech itself, because here's where it gets really interesting. How exactly has the humble car key evolved to make modern lockouts so incredibly complicated?
It's wild, right?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that long ago that a simple coat hanger through the window trick could, get you out of a jam. Why is it so different now?
So what we're looking at is basically a decades-long arms race
Between who?
between automotive manufacturers and car thieves. As vehicles got more advanced to prevent theft, the technology required to just access and start them became highly specialized.
Okay, so they had to stop the classic, like, screwdriver in the ignition kind of theft.
Right. So they introduced all these digital security layers. But here is the catch. When you, the rightful owner, get locked out or lose your key, you are now facing those exact same formidable digital barriers.
Oh, wow. I never thought about it like that. You're locked out by your own security system.
Precisely. And overcoming them requires specialized knowledge and equipment that goes, way beyond a coat hanger.
So what does that actually look like? Are we just talking about those push-to-start fobs, or is it deeper than that?
Oh, it's much deeper. I mean, even if you have a physical metal key that you physically turn in the ignition, if your car was made in, say, the last 20 years, it almost certainly has a transponder chip hidden inside the plastic head.
Wait, really? Just inside the plastic part you hold?
Yep. And that chip has to perform like a digital handshake with the car's immobilizer.
Okay, so what exactly is an immobilizer?
The immobilizer is essentially a digital bouncer. When you insert the key, an antenna ring around the ignition cylinder sends out this tiny electromagnetic field.
Wait, hold on. Is that how the key gets power? Because I've definitely had standard chip keys without any batteries in them. So how are they sending a signal to this bouncer?
Exactly. It's this thing called passive RFID induction.
Okay.
That electromagnetic field from the car actually powers the tiny glass capsule inside your key just for a split second.
Just long enough to do what?
Just long enough for it to broadcast its unique cryptographic ID. And if that ID matches what the car's engine control unit, the ECU, is expecting, the bouncer steps aside, the fuel pump kicks on, and the engine starts.
And if it doesn't match? Like if I just got a cheap metal copycat at the hardware store?
Then the car just shuts down. It will not start.
That is so cool. But wait, if it's just broadcasting a radio signal, couldn't a smart thief just, I don't know, stand next to me in a grocery store parking lot, use a scanner to copy my key signal, and then replay it later?
Well, that is exactly what thieves tried to do in the early days of this tech.
Oh, naturally.
Right. So to combat that, manufacturers introduced rolling codes. It works a lot like a two-factor authentication app on your smartphone.
Oh, where the number keeps changing every minute.
Exactly. The key and the car both share this complex, synchronized algorithm. Every single time you start the car, that algorithm generates a brand new, one-time use code for the very next time you start it.
So even if a thief intercepts my signal today, that code is basically already obsolete by tomorrow.
Exactly. It's useless to them.
Okay, that is fascinating. But here's where I get confused.
Sure.
If car keys and these vehicle security systems are so incredibly smart and entirely digital now, why do physical components like the ignition itself still break? I mean, if we're talking about rolling codes and passive RFID, why are people still snapping keys off on their dashboard?
Well, because despite all this digital sophistication, physics always wins.
Ah, right. Good old wear and tear.
Exactly. Mechanical wear and tear is just relentless. Every time you slide a metal key into a lock cylinder, tiny brass tumblers inside are physically scraping against the metal of the key. Over time, all those little components wear down.
And I imagine dirt gets in there too.
Oh, absolutely. Dirt, lint from your pocket, grime, it all builds up inside the cylinder. And furthermore, think about your keychain.
Oh man, I am definitely guilty of this. I have way too many keys, a gym barcode, and like 3 heavy metal trinkets on my car keychain.
A lot of drivers do. And while you're driving, that heavy keychain basically acts as a pendulum. Every time you go over a bump or a pothole, the weight pulls down on the key and it constantly misaligns the internal wafers of the ignition cylinder.
So it's just pulling the lock out of shape slowly.
Right. And eventually that physical stress takes its toll. A driver might feel the key stick, they get frustrated, they force it, and suddenly snap, the key breaks right in half.
Leaving a piece stuck deep inside the ignition, that is an absolute nightmare.
It really is.
How does a locksmith even fix that? Because I imagine if you just go in there with a pair of pliers and start yanking, you're going to destroy that delicate digital antenna ring you just mentioned.
Precisely. And if you destroy that cylinder or the antenna, you are looking at a massive repair bill.
Right.
A professional locksmith uses specialized extraction tools. We aren't talking about pliers here. They use incredibly thin, hardened steel instruments.
Like what?
Well, like a spiral extractor, which looks almost like a miniature corkscrew, or a hook extractor. They use a tension wrench to hold the little dust flap of the lock open, and then they carefully slide the extractor alongside the broken piece of the blade.
Oh, wow. So they're going in right next to the broken key.
Exactly. They hook a single cut, which is called the bitting of the key, and then gently slide it out without ever scraping the delicate internal tumblers.
It is wild to think about how much technical expertise is just, driving around in a locksmith's van these days. I mean, they have to be part mechanical engineer, part IT specialist, and part security expert.
They really do wear a lot of hats.
And this brings us perfectly to how a professional actually handles an emergency in the real world. Because, when you're stranded on the streets of the city, knowing the technical complexities is great and all, but understanding the actual step-by-step process of getting rescued is what gives you peace of mind.
Absolutely. The process is everything.
I actually want to highlight our sponsor again here, Bolt Locksmith Williamsburg. If you look at their 5-star reviews, their customers are constantly raving about their customer-centric approach for automotive locksmith services across Brooklyn and Queens.
Yeah, they really prioritize the customer experience.
They do. They don't just fix the car, they de-escalate the stress of the whole situation. So let's walk through a scenario. Say it's midnight, it's raining, I'm leaving a venue in Bushwick, and I realize I have completely lost my smart fob.
Okay, setting the scene.
My car is parked on the street. I'm totally stuck. I pull out my phone and call Bolt Locksmith at 929-294-4260. What actually happens next? Like, how does a professional keep me from totally panicking?
Well, the de-escalation starts on that very first phone call.
Yep.
The dispatcher isn't just going to grunt and say, yeah, we'll send a guy.
Right.
They're going to ask you for very specific details. They want the exact make, model, and year of your vehicle, and ideally, the VIN.
Why do they need all of that up front before they even show up?
Because of all that digital security we talked about earlier, the technician needs to know exactly which transponder chips, which fob models, and which software diagnostic tools to physically load into the van before they dispatch.
Oh, because there are probably thousands of variations.
But exactly. Once they arrive, they perform a really thorough on-site inspection. Now, if you were just locked out, they'd assess the best way to open the door without damaging the weather stripping or the internal wiring. But in your scenario where you've lost the fob, they move straight to exploring solutions.
And I imagine giving the customer options, like right there on the street, is incredibly important for their peace of mind.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it is arguably the most vital part of the psychological rescue. Yeah. In an emergency, your cognitive load is just maxed out. You're worried about how much this will cost, if your car will need to be towed, or if you're even safe standing on the street at midnight.
Oh, for sure. You're just spiraling.
Right. So a reliable professional immediately reduces that cognitive load by offering transparent options. They explain exactly what they need to do, and they break down the pricing clearly with no hidden fees. They return a sense of agency to you.
Okay, so let's say I agree to the price. The technician goes to their van, gets a blank fob. But if the immobilizer is literally designed by the manufacturer to stop unauthorized people from programming keys, how does a locksmith legally bypass that system right there on the sidewalk?
So they actually interface directly with your car's brain. Under your steering wheel, there's an OBD2 port.
The onboard diagnostics port, right? The same one mechanics use.
Exactly. The locksmith plugs a highly specialized, secure tablet into that port. And to get past the car's firewalls, the locksmith often has to use their professional credentials to log into a secure automotive database.
Wait, like on the internet?
Yep. They verify that they are a licensed technician, and they pull the specific cryptographic PIN code for your vehicle's VIN.
Wow, so they are securely pinging a database in real time just to get permission to enter the car's system.
Exactly. And once they authenticate, they use the tablet to tell the car's ECU, hey, forget the old key that was lost?
Oh, so if someone finds it on the street, they can't steal the car.
Precisely. The car forgets the old key, and they tell it to accept this brand new transponder ID. They pair the new rolling code, synchronize the buttons on the fob, and perform a full quality assurance test to make sure the car starts and every single door locks and unlocks properly.
I have to say, that transparent, methodical process really reminds me of going to the ER for a medical emergency.
That's a great way to look at it.
You know, you are in a bad spot. You want a rapid response. You want a clear diagnosis of the exact problem. And you absolutely do not want any surprise bills when you are finally allowed to leave.
Exactly. And a true professional takes it one step further with preventative care, just like a good doctor.
How so?
While they are testing the new fob, a good locksmith will give you tips on how to maintain your locks. For instance, they might advise you to keep your smart fob away from strong magnetic fields that could scramble the chip.
Oh, I wouldn't have even thought of that.
Right. Or they might suggest checking the fob battery once a year. And if you have a physical lock that is sticking, they might tell you to use a PTFE dry lubricant rather than WD-40.
Wait, really? No WD-40? I thought that fixed everything.
Common misconception. WD-40 actually attracts dirt and it just gums up the tumblers over time. A dry lube is much safer for delicate locks.
That's a really great tip. Okay, no WD-40 in the ignition. So, knowing how complex this all is, how do I avoid ending up with an amateur?
That's the million-dollar question.
Because if I'm vetting a reliable auto locksmith in the city, what are the absolute non-negotiables? You don't want to be figuring this out while standing in the freezing rain.
Well, physical presence and local knowledge are paramount. When you search for a locksmith on your phone, a lot of the results are actually just out-of-state call centers that subcontract the work to whoever is cheapest.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, you want a local hub. For example, Bolt Locksmith operates physical locations right in Williamsburg and DUMBO. That means they actually know the grid.
That makes a lot of sense.
They know the difference between traffic in Greenpoint versus the narrow one-way streets of Bushwick, and they can actually guarantee a rapid, round-the-clock response.
That local knowledge is huge. But there's another phrase I see thrown around constantly when researching locksmiths. Licensed, bonded, and insured.
Ah, yes, the trifecta.
Right. We hear that in service industries all the time, but what does it actually mean when it comes to someone touching the actual computer system of my car?
It is the ultimate legal and financial safeguard. Let's break it down real quick. Licensed means the technician has passed state-mandated criminal background checks and met strict industry standards for proficiency.
So they aren't just some random person who watched a YouTube video on how to pick a lock.
Exactly. Now, bonded means there is a third-party financial guarantee in place. If the locksmith were to fail to complete the job or maybe perform it unethically, the bond provides direct financial compensation to you, the consumer.
Oh, I see. And what about insured? Isn't my car insurance enough if something goes wrong?
You definitely don't want your premiums going up for someone else's mistake.
Fair point.
Modern cars are incredibly expensive pieces of technology. If an untrained technician accidentally shorts out a $3,000 wiring harness while trying to program a key through that OBD2 port,
Oh, no.
or aggressively scratches the paint on your door panel during a lockout, the locksmith's insurance covers the repair entirely. It guarantees that your prized vehicle is financially protected and in accountable hands.
So what does this all mean for you as a driver? It means you really shouldn't just click the very first sponsored internet ad that pops up when you're panicked on the sidewalk.
Definitely not.
You need to look for those specific markers of unwavering professionalism. You look for the 5-star reviews, you verify they have a real physical footprint in Brooklyn and Queens, you ensure they have a transparent process where they explain the solutions and the pricing upfront, and you demand that licensed, bonded, and insured trifecta.
Exactly. Doing a little bit of research ahead of time, maybe even saving a trusted number in your phone today, will save you a massive amount of time, money, and anxiety when the unexpected actually happens.
It is the definition of proactive preparation.
Yeah.
You're securing your peace of mind before you even need it.
Absolutely.
Well, that wraps up today's deep dive on Automotive Locksmith Services in Brooklyn and Queens, New York. We hope you've gained valuable insights into how professional locksmiths can help during unexpected car lock and key emergencies.
And we hope you understand the services they provide and the steps you can take to avoid common issues in the future.
Exactly. Remember, being prepared can save you time, money, and unnecessary stress. Whether you're dealing with a lockout, a lost key, or a malfunctioning key fob, having a trusted automotive locksmith you can rely on makes all the difference.
It really does.
Thank you for tuning in. If you found this deep dive helpful, be sure to share it with your family and friends who drive in the area. Stay safe, drive smart, and we'll see you in the next deep dive.
And if you need a trusted pro right now, call the sponsor now, Bolt Locksmith Williamsburg, for trusted automotive locksmith services in Brooklyn and Queens.
Schedule your locksmith inspection today and make sure you're secure, protected, and ready for whatever comes next.
Here's a quick message from them. Sponsored by Bolt Locksmith Williamsburg. Phone 929-294-4050.
Bolt Locksmith provides 24-hour locksmith service across Brooklyn, Queens, and Manhattan, from our locations in Williamsburg and DMEO. Our licensed technicians handle residential, commercial, and automotive locksmith work, including lockouts, lock repair, rekeying, key replacement safes, and security systems.
And as you pocket your car's smart key today, I want to leave you with a thought to mull over. Just ask yourself, how much of your daily freedom and mobility relies entirely on a tiny piece of synchronized digital technology? And, are you truly prepared for the exact moment it decides to stop communicating with your car